This tutorial series on Oracle SOA Suite. This tutorial series will be developing a simple composite service which gets an indication from machine-to-machine platform when a car leaves a geofence, and then we implement a simple process that goes to a mock-up of a reservation system to see if the car is rented out or not, and if it's not rented out or moving for some other unknown reasons, we read from another table what actions to take, and then we execute some configurable set of actions based on this action table. So the idea here is that the customer could implement the business logic later, what to do when the car is moving for unknown reasons, to send alerts or so on. In the previous tutorials we have created database pools in the Java application server, and we have created a kind of a small table for this mock-up of a reservation system. And now we are ready to start the actual development with the JDeveloper. So there's many ways to do this one, but I will do it so that I will first define the kind of messages that this mock-up for a reservation system receives. So I will first create so-called XML schemas that define the messages that our reservation system receives and accepts, and then after that one I will create a small mock-up DPL process that then implements a small logic to actually fetch the status of the vehicle from this newly created database table. But let's start first by defining the messages that are going back and forth between our service. So I do that one by saying new, and here I have XML and XML schema. So XML schema is a way of formally defining in XML what type of an XML documents are accepted. Let's call this schema, for example, vehicle status. Let's put it into some namespace such as and just say OK. This one creates the kind of a schema with a simple example element. Now we are ready to start editing. This is a graphical tool for editing the XML schemas. I have a different schema kind of alternatives for the schema here. I can drag and drop things. There's an alternative way of editing this one is that I have this kind of an XML schema also in XML format. But let's use this graphical editor at least for the moment. I can take this existing element, change its name, for example. Let's call this, for example, vehicle status query. So this will represent the incoming query. And what that one does is that it will actually have a list of elements. So I will add a sequence here, drag and drop it here. And then I will say that this sequence contains a set of elements. So the incoming request will contain, for example, license number. So the query will contain the license number that is being asked for. And then I can right click here. I can say set type. And I can define that this is license number is for example XSD string. So I would this license number. The query will be based on the license number. There might also be something else like the request time. So let's call this, for example, event time. There's an alternative way of editing these definitions. So there is this called property inspector here. So I can here, for example, say that this is, for example, XSD date time, but here I actually have to type what is the format. So I mean the event time when it's received is a date time, and then let's add another one. I don't think we really be needing it, but let's add a third element, like for example, vehicle type. And I could set its type, for example, also using the set type, or I could just type here XSD string to indicate that it's actually a string. Or I could go directly into this XML format. I could also directly here edit. It a little bit depends what is the way that you want to edit these that you prefer. So now I have one element called vehicle status query, which is the incoming request. I can create another element. Let's call that, for example, vehicle status response. And this one will represent the response that our kind of mock-up service will return. Let's add here a sequence. It might contain multiple values. But let's in this case just add a single element called status. And let's make this one also a string. And let's add a third element called vehicle status error. So in case there is some error, we could return a different element back. Let's add a sequence. And also then an element. Let's add for example, error code. Sorry, error code, not error core. Let's make that one, for example, XSD string. There are these other XML alternatives, so if I can also define that min occurs, max occurs, and other kind of an XML schema alternatives if I need to do that one. Let's perhaps also add this error text or error text in case it might be handy at some point. Now we have defined an XML schema. This is actually how simple it is to define XML schemas in, let's say, JDeveloper. So in the next tutorial we will be going through actually developing the process, but for this for this tutorial or this part, I think this is quite fine enough, and thanks for watching and see you in the